Here I am again. Here I am again. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Oh, are you here again? That's a surprise. Stop it, dog. How are you today? I'm just going to hang on and wait, see if anybody's going to join me. Hello. Say hello if you're watching. Say hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Friday's come round again. Doesn't it come round really, really quick? Right. So I reckon we better get started because it's an important one today and I want you to be brave and stick with me. And if you can't stick with me now, because I know I'll go on a long time. What are them dogs doing? Are you staying in or going out? If you can't stick with me now, because I'll be going on a little while, because it's really important, this topic. But if you can't stick with me, watch it again. Hiya, Jen. So, let me just close my door. Dogs annoying me. Dogs annoying. Don't look at all the mess behind me. Right, okay, so it's a really, really important topic today, so we'll get started straight away. And we're going to be talking about alcohol. Okay, and I know a lot of you pregnant ladies, pregnant ladies are not drinking alcohol during pregnancy, and the advice is that there's no safe amount and you should not be drinking any alcohol in pregnancy. That's the advice. But we're only pregnant for 9 months, and all the rest of the time, you know, lots of us have a little drink here and there. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about our culture of drinking, how marketing and media influences our subconscious mind, and how we end up drinking too much, because that's what happened to me, drinking more than I'd like to. So I decided to do dry January, like a lot of people do. But I've done, not dry January, but I've done it twice before where I've done alcohol-free months. The first time I did it, I hated it. Because I had all these stories, I heard all these stories about how much weight people lost, and I didn't lose any weight at all. So I was really, really miffed. I didn't lose any weight, and all I felt was a sense of missing out and being miserable, and that I wasn't joining in all the good times that everybody else that was drinking was having. So we're just going to try and go through some of the facts and myths about drinking, and how knowing some things will really help you decide, make an informed decision about what and when you're drinking and whether it's in safe levels. And there's so much. Hi Christina, hi Rachel, hi Sarah. So there's so much information out there about alcohol, and I think most people, hi Chloe, most people know that drinking too much is not good for you, and the government guidance is that we shouldn't be drinking any more than 14 units a week. And if you're not sure what a unit is in each drink, I think a bottle of wine's about 10 units. You can have a look on the government's website. There's loads of charts. You can just Google the charts, and the chart will come up with what drinks have how many units in. So I've written, we'll dive straight on in, and it is really difficult, and I don't want you to think that I find it easy. I find it really, really hard, because I like drinking wine. But sometimes you've got to take a step back and say, is this really what you want? Are you drinking what you really want? And are you in control of what you're drinking and where you're going? And I know a lot of people during lockdown have been drinking a little bit more than they usually would do. And, you know, just drinking more through the week than they probably would do. And let me tell you, I'll let you into a little secret. a lot of the, as part of a question at my booking appointment with the pregnant ladies, I always ask them, because it's part of the list of questions that we ask. So we ask ladies if they drink alcohol, and hopefully they all say, no, I've given up because now I'm pregnant, I'm not going to drink any alcohol, which is the right answer. But we ask what they were drinking pre-pregnancy, and I can tell you that the majority of women will say they didn't drink before, or it was very, very occasionally. And I say, what do you mean very occasionally? Well, maybe 1 or 2 glasses of wine every month, maybe, or only when on special occasions. And the thing is, I'm thinking, rubbish. Every single one of them comes in and tells me they've never had a drink in their life. And I'm like, yeah, all right then. So it's not my job to, to argue with them, and it's not my job to judge either. It's my job to direct people to the right services that can help them. But obviously, you don't go to your doctor and tell them you're smoking 50 fags a day. You're going to tell them you smoke 10 a day. And same with drinking. A lot of the time, we're all guilty of it. We go to the doctors and they say, how much do you drink? And you go, 10 units a week, and I have 2 days. I always have days off in between that I don't drink anything. Right, because you should have at least 2 alcohol-free days a week. So, first of all, right, the reason I found that first month alcohol-free really, really difficult is because I didn't look into it enough. And I need lots of answers. I can't just say, somebody goes, right, don't drink for a month and then you'll be brilliant and everything will be good. Because I thought, well, why should I? I'm missing out. Why should I? Hi, Gemma. Hi, Felicity. Hi, Talia. Nice. Thank you for all joining me. So I found it a lot easier and a lot more helpful when I looked into and found some resources that gave me some of the answers about why I should address or look at carefully what alcohol I was drinking. And let me tell you, a lot of ladies at my age, once they get to late 40s, early mid to late 40s, early 50s, a lot of women struggle at that age and just start knocking back the wine because it just helps them relax. I know this. Okay. So alcohol, I looked up the dictionary definition of alcohol. It says it's a colourless, volatile, flammable liquid which is produced by the natural fermentation of sugars and is the intoxicating constituent of wine, beer, spirits and other drinks, and is also used as an industrial solvent and as fuel. Doesn't sound nice, does it? Okay. So I found a little article that was written by Professor David Nutt in The Guardian. I just came across it because I wanted to know whether you can class alcohol as poison. We know it's a toxic substance, and I'm just going to read this to you because they put it absolutely beautiful. And this is quite hard hitting, but I think we all should know this stuff, and some people will just turn off because they don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear that what you enjoy most in the world is really, really bad for you. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Alcohol is a toxin that kills cells such as microorganisms, which is why we use it to preserve food and sterilize skin and needles, etc. So a lot of the medical wipes that we use for cleaning the skin before we go give an injection, it's got alcohol in it because it kills microorganisms. Alcohol kills humans too. A dose only 4 times as high as the amount that would make blood levels exceed drink driving limits in the UK can kill. It's really food for thought, isn't it? The toxicity of alcohol is worsened because in order for it to be cleared from the body, it has to be metabolized to acetaldehyde, an even more toxic substance. Any food or drink contaminated with the amount of acetaldehyde that a unit of alcohol produces would be immediately banned as having an unacceptable health risk. Right, so it's not a joke, this stuff is a dangerous substance, and we need to really, really look at how our subconscious sees it and what are actually the medical facts about what drinking too much alcohol can do to you. So alcohol, and you know, I'll show you the book that I've got that I would highly recommend. So some of the stuff that I've learned about alcohol is in this book. I've got it here, but I'm just going to show you what it's called. This Naked Mind, Control Alcohol by Annie Grace. So you can get any number of YouTube clips. If you YouTube Annie Grace, there's loads of things, and I'm going to put you a couple of resources up on my site afterwards. But she just says, right, take a moment to look around you and see how much advertising and marketing is around alcohol being the elixir of life, she calls it, you know, and it's the elixir of life. It's going to fix everything. So I just Googled some of the little, you know, the little signs you can get, and you just don't really notice them. You just laugh at them and don't take them seriously. But when you start realizing that these little things are just constantly feeding into your subconscious, it starts to get a little bit worrying, really, the power of them. And I had a little sign, a little metal sign that I had hanging in my kitchen, and it said something about drinking. I can't even remember what it says, but after I'd read this book, I took it down and I thought, I can't have that in my house. Right, so I'm just going to show you a couple of little signs and things that I found, and these are here. So you've got gin and tonic, Prosecco, 1 Prosecco, 3 Prosecco, 3 Prosecco floor. Time heals, but gin is quicker. Wine is the answer. What was the question again? And then we've got let the gin times roll. It's never too early for gin o'clock. Is it time for wine yet? And so even that there, right? So I'm going to show you the harsh realities. 1 Prosecco, 2 Prosecco, 3 Prosecco floor. So basically what this one is doing is glamorizing getting so drunk that you end up face planting. And anybody who's unfortunately been in that situation where you've fallen over drunk, it's funny for everybody else, but it's not funny for you, and it's certainly not funny in the morning. So it just makes you think, really, who is this funny for? And it really makes you think. And then, you know, you've only got to look at... So I found these, and these are birthday cards. So not only do these cards glorify drinking, and it's constantly feeding into your subconscious. So we've got, that one says there, Lorna knew there was a little time and place for gin in her hand, and now. And then you've got alcohol-free wine, drunk by mistake. Birthday girl remains calm and washes her mouth out with a large gin. And then this one here, you've got... I'm wishing you a happy birthday before you're too drunk to remember that it's your birthday. Right, it's funny. On the face of it, it's funny. But in reality, it's not quite so funny. So, you know, everyone wants to have a nice birthday. You don't want to get so smashed that you can't even remember it's your birthday. And this here is actually subconsciously sending you a message that it's really, really not cool to not drink. It's not cool at all to not drink. Which is a shame, really, because it's so healthy, and people who are sustaining from drinking alcohol are doing an amazing job. And I've just printed off this from I'm going to share with you this article here. And it says, if you combine wine and dinner, the new word is winner. And can you see that mummy? She's got 3 kids hanging off her, and that littlest one's only a toddler, you know, and that's what she needs to get through her day, a massive glass of red wine. So it's these images that feed into your subconscious. And talking about mummies, you know, look at these. These are gifts that you can put. It's time to wind down, Danielle. So you can even get your name put on there, Danielle. So special mass, and that, do you know what? That's not a little glass, is it? And then this one here I found says Mummy's Medicine. And it says, what does it say? What does it say? Fill and what? Fill and consume when needed. And that's got a little cross on it, so it's Mum's Medicine. So it's quirky and it's funny, but what it's encouraging is it's saying to young and new mums, it's saying that this is what society says is normal to you. This is normal, that if you've got children, young children, you're going to need to drink through it, which is rubbish. So when you start to notice all the signals all around you, it does make you feel not surprised that people drink too much, because society is saying drinking is fine. But the reason I wanted to do this live today is it's okay to drink, it's legal to drink if that's what you choose to do. But I think a lot of people don't realise what some of the harmful effects are for themselves. And the problem is with drinking is it can easily become a slippery slope, because alcohol is addictive. Alcohol is an addictive substance, so it's and because you build up a tolerance to alcohol, it's really, really easy to just up the levels, you know. So I had a quick look at drinking games. How do we glamorize drinking games? Drunk confidence. We all get much more confident, don't we, when we're all drunky. These cards will get you drunk as a skunk. So what that tells our subconscious mind is that you're going to have so much fun at your party playing these games, but you're going to need alcohol to do it. And another book that I just found, which I found was quite amusing. It's all a big joke, isn't it? Drinking too much in our culture is quite funny, because people do funny things that's funny for everybody else apart from that person. Little Miss Wine O'Clock and Friends. So it just shows you this massive culture of mummies drinking, mummies and, you know, women drinking, and she's with her friends, so it's all right to get smashed. However, I wanted to print you off some pictures to really highlight what we're dealing with here. Now, those of you that know me very well know that at a Christmas party I drunk too much, and my husband very, very kindly looked after me when I got home. One of my lovely colleagues got me home, and I came home. Husband sat me on the toilet and let go of me, and I just face planted on the floor, and I had a black eye. And it was funny for everybody else, but it was not funny for me. It was embarrassing. It was awful. Awful. I felt awful the next day. I looked a right mess. I looked like a complete idiot. My Fitbit goes crazy after 3 glasses of wine, and my sleep is horrendous. It's really put me off. I'm going to talk to you, Kirsty, about what some of the things we can do. It's really not okay to have to look after hangovers. Do you know what? Which doesn't make us... The hangover sometimes doesn't make us learn our lessons, and that's because alcohol is addictive. It's an addictive substance. So I really wanted to show you some of these pictures that I found hard to find them, if I'm honest, because I knew I was going to find some horrific pictures of people who've drunk too much, drunk people. So there you've got some geezer in the street so drunk he's just passed out. I don't know what country that's in. But when you look at that picture, it just makes me feel really sad. Really sad. Where are his friends? Why has no one helped him? He is in a position there of being so vulnerable. He's so vulnerable, and that just makes me feel really sad. And that's what we're glamorizing. That's what we're glamorizing. So I've got another one to show you, which you probably think this is hilarious, right? But if you look a little bit longer, so we've all seen pictures like that, haven't we? We've all seen pictures like this, haven't we? Now, he looks like a rag doll. He looks like he's probably really hurt himself, and that also makes me feel horrifically sad that that's your big night out, that you're going to get drunk and you're going to have the best time ever when you go out with your mates, and you're going to fall in a bush and everyone's going to leave you and take pictures of you and put it on social media. That's the other issue, isn't it? Being out of control and being in a vulnerable position, especially if you've got a job that's a respectful job. I'm so embarrassed at the times I've not remembered stuff. I know, Sarah, I've done the same, having worked on the doors for years. I don't drink anymore. The old glass of... Becky, honestly, it's disturbing, but this is, we all know this is what happens when you drink too much. And actually, I'm not even sure whether he's wet himself there in a little pool of wet, and that is just, for me, that's not funny. And this picture here makes me want to cry. It really makes me want to cry. Feel so sad. But I just want to highlight what are we talking about, right? This is horrendous. Are you ready for this? So, drunk teenager passes out in the middle of the road, and that makes me want to cry. So I think that picture's been taken by the police, who luckily have stopped. Gee whiz. So that young lady, presumably, you know, not much experience, drunk a bit too much, and has found herself in the absolute most vulnerable position I can think of. And that makes me feel like crying. I think, where's a mum? Can you imagine if a mum or a parent could see her? And the truth is that was probably in the middle of the night. You know, police picked her up, took her home and chucked her in bed, you know. But, oh my goodness, that is just... So, that is not funny. That is not funny. So, we're going to go through a few bits and pieces. But the book that I've got... Where's my book? So, this here. So, I bought this last time I did my month alcohol free, because I thought, do you know, I'm an all or nothing person. I thought, right, my body needs a rest. I need to recalibrate. I need to think about what I'm doing. I'm not going to cut down. I'm going to just cut it out so I can think about what I'm doing. You know, that was probably after I fell off the toilet and had my black eye. Right, but This Naked Mind with Annie Grace, I got it on audiobook actually, and I also bought the book for somebody else in my family because I thought it was so interesting. And what it does is it explains a lot about how addictions work, how the subconscious mind works, and how the conscious mind works. And she basically says that that your subconscious drives your emotions, and that drives your desires to have a drink and your, you know, addictions and things like that. And that is way stronger than your conscious mind can reason. So, you know, and she said often it's very difficult because even though consciously you might have made a decision to stop drinking or cut down drinking, so you're not having a drink, and because your subconscious still has that desire to have a drink of alcohol, you know, you just feel like you're missing out. And I've got to say that I'm struggling now. We're 2 weeks in, And I'm not finding it easy, because drinking when I'm not working the next day has almost become an ingrained habit. I've thought, right, okay, I'm not working tomorrow. So typically it's a Friday today. So, and I'm not working tomorrow. So under normal circumstances, I would already have that bottle of wine in the fridge. But I've made a decision. I'm not drinking through January. And having just made that clear decision's made it a little bit easier. But I'm still looking for all the alcohol-free drinks that might taste the same, so that I can maintain the habit while not drinking the alcohol, And so this addresses some of those really deep-seated reasons why we feel the way we do, why it talks a lot about society's norms as well. And people have been drinking alcohol like since Jesus was alive. So it's ingrained in our culture, and that's really, really difficult to get rid of those deep-seated subconscious beliefs about you can't have a party without alcohol, you're not going to have a good time. Dry January really good when you did it 2 years ago. I can't be bothered with apps, though. I can't be bothered with apps. So anyway, back to my point about, I always had a little sneaky suspicion sometimes people aren't 100% honest with me, and they go, no, I've never drunk a drink. I never drunk a drop of alcohol in my whole life. So I did a little bit of digging. Hi, Zini. Are you all right? Hi, Isla. We're meant to be homeschooling. Ooh. I'm sure your mummy's got lots of really fun stuff to make. You'll have to get her to make a sock bunny with you. So I did Office for National Statistics. So I wanted to have a look for some proof, because I ain't buying it. No, but I'm the only person in Great Britain that drinks, right? Which is what everybody I meet. No, don't drink. Every now and again, people tell me. So adult drinking habits in Great Britain, 2005 to 16. So it's a little while ago, but it's just, this is full of statistics that basically say people do drink alcohol. They do drink alcohol. So the main points in Great Britain, so they found 56.9% of opinions and lifestyle survey respondents aged 16 years and over in 2016 drank alcohol, which equates to 29 million people in the population. So that's how many people say that they drink. 7.8 million people binged on alcohol on their heaviest drinking days. Young people aged 16 to 24 years in Great Britain are less likely to drink than any other age group. When they do drink, consumption on their heaviest days tends to be higher than other ages. Listen to this. You're doing it with me. Oh, I'm so pleased. The highest earners, those earning £40,000 and above annually, are more likely to be frequent drinkers and binge on their heaviest drinking day when compared with the lowest earners. And it says, among men who binged, normal strength beer was the most popular choice of alcohol, and for females, wine was the most popular choice. So let's pop that on there. So, right. So I'm going to go on to effects on your health. And I found quite a good little chart. So alcohol misuse. So I guess you could say that if you're drinking more than 14 units in any 1 week, you're misusing alcohol. Right, alcohol misuse. So I'll let you have a little look. Can you see heart disease or irregular heartbeat, liver, is it cirrhosis, and liver cancer? I'm trying to get it so you can see. Reduced fertility, high blood pressure, stroke. Have you seen this one here? Depression and anxiety. That's what alcohol misuse causes. Breast cancer in women, harm to unborn babies, pancreatitis, cancer of the mouth, throat, esophagus and larynx. So it does have a detrimental effect on your health. And I need to listen to my own advice, I'm telling you. I keep saying Publix should do a lot more soft drink options like nice fruity mocktails. I think they should. But the problem is, Sarah, alcohol is where the money is. I wish there were more diet options other than Diet Coke. Well, we're going to be having a little look at alcohol-free drinks tonight, so I hope you can all join me at 7 o'clock. Right, alcohol and health. So we've got World Health Organisation, or WHO, World Health Organisation there. So I think, have you seen that? Can you actually read that again? 3 million deaths from harmful use of alcohol every year. Harmful use of alcohol causes. So we've got that, oh my God, 18% of suicides. 27% of traffic injuries, 13% of epilepsy, 48% of liver cirrhosis, mouth cancers, pancreatitis, tuberculosis, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, hypertensive heart disease. So, do you know what? We can all sit here having our massive glass of wine, but these are the facts, and we don't like to hear them. We don't like to hear them. I don't want to hear it either. And we're going to go on. We've got to face it head on. We've got to face it head on and change our ways so we can become more productive. And I'll talk to you a little bit about how 2 weeks of dry January has affected me already. Okay, so effects in and out of pregnancy. So I've just told you a few of the effects. Right, okay. So I'm going to show you this one as well, because this is risks of drinking while pregnant. So the advice from midwives and doctors is that there is no safe level of alcohol in pregnancy. I know previously the advice was you're allowed 1 little glass of wine a day or whatever it was, but the truth is that they just don't know. And I'm going to share with you a YouTube video once I've gone off live about fetal alcohol syndrome, and it's this woman's account. She's so brave and it's so enlightening. And when we've got problems, you know, I think we all drink a bit too much. If you're pregnant and you're not drinking, I really hope that you can use that change and breaking that habit to continue after having your baby, because once you've stopped drinking, you've pretty much cracked it. And, you know, because it's a hard habit to break. So risks of drinking while pregnant. Okay, so we've got there, can you see? Low birth weight, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. It's often called FASD, that's what they call it on this YouTube clip. Developmental delays and long-term cognitive disabilities. We've got premature delivery, birth defects including facial deformities. And then, so there she is, pregnant lady. So, can you see that? It's not my most flattering pose there, is it, peeping over? But, so I think I'm going to post that because I think that's really helpful. And you can't just pretend it's not happening. Someone's not just made that up. That is a thing. So I'm hopefully going to educate you a little bit more about what FASD is by the YouTube video. Hopefully you get a really good grip of what drinking alcohol in pregnancy can mean. And this, right, okay. No alcohol, no risk. And it says there, can you see, fetal alcohol spectrum disorders are 100% preventable. So, oh my God, if you're pregnant, look at the, oh my goodness, it's limb damage, kidney damage, brain damage, small head circumference, it's really quite alarming, isn't it, when you dare to delve into it to see. So I'm going to put you up a YouTube video of the dangers of drinking alcohol while pregnant, and what that will tell you is that alcohol does cross over the placenta, and it takes the baby longer than it does for you to get rid of the alcohol. So it's in the baby's alcohol in the baby's bloodstream longer, and then you've got all those potential detrimental effects if it's a regular thing through pregnancy. And you know, just remember, if you want to be sure, no alcohol, no risk. And if you're brave enough to watch the YouTube clip that I'm going to show you, it's this here. This lady here is called Claire Holland. So it's not an American, Australian, I think she's Australian. An Australian mummy called Claire, funnily enough. She's talking about, she's so brave. And the reason she's brave is because she's made a documentary about pretty much, look at that face she's got, pretty much about how awful she feels, how guilty she feels, and what her life is like with her 10-year-old daughter Jamie she's called, 10-year-old Jamie. And she says it takes her 2 hours to get ready for school. She says it's a full-on battle. Simple things are really difficult. I've worked with teens and adults with FADS, and it increases impulse and can result in, do you know what? I'm really pleased that I do these lives, because it's just been so interesting to learn more about something, and you think, oh my goodness, because if you watch this video, it's got a wealth of, I've watched quite a not fads, FASD. That's what I meant as well, Kirsty. So, you know, there's loads of things about, so I watched this one with little Jamie, 10-year-old, and Jamie, little 10-year-old girl, she looks perfectly normal. She's a pretty little thing. She's a sweet little thing. But when you hear a mum talking about, I knew something was wrong, and actually, she wasn't a stark raving alkie rolling round drunk on the floor. She said, you know, and her and her husband talk about it really quite openly. And she says she'd been on medication to help with depression and anxiety in the first instance. And when she first got pregnant, the doctor said it'd be a good idea to come off the medication for her anxiety and depression. So she thought she was doing the right thing. She came off the medication, but obviously she was finding things difficult and turned to alcohol. She turned to alcohol, and she admits that she was a heavy drinker, and she said she would drink 7 to 8 drinks a day. So she said, and she kind of explains it like, you think, do you know what? I can imagine how that happens easily if that's what you're used to doing. She said, I'd have a few beers after work, and I have a couple of glasses of wine while making dinner. And, you know, she said she wasn't rolling around drunk, but obviously she was used to drinking, and her tolerance levels got to a point where she wasn't rolling around drunk. And she said by the 3rd trimester, she managed to got a drinking down to 2 to 3 glasses an evening. So this woman is a complete star, and without people like this sharing their stories, you know, she's brave enough to say this is what happened, and I'm so grateful that she's shared her story so you can see, because she shares the battles she has with this little girl. And what I've come to realise is there's lots of things associated with ADHD and behavioural disorders and links to criminal behaviour, like Kirsty said, if you've worked, Kirsty, with people with those difficulties. And then I watched a few more, you know, YouTube videos they always link on to something else similar. So I watched some with some bloke who's, I think he was in his 30s, and he had all these problems. He looked perfectly normal, but he was depressed. He tried to commit suicide. He struggled with jobs, and he was diagnosed as having FASD, so fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. And his life was miserable. His life was miserable. It was so sad. And I thought, people are going to judge him as, because he looks normal, as just being a bad un, being a wrong un. And he's probably struggled all his life with a whole manner of different problems. Let me open this curtain. And, you know, it's just really, really sad. So I think awareness round drinking in pregnancy or not drinking in pregnancy is so, so important. And so that's why I wanted to share this with you. But also because of my own journey and doing Dry January and some of the things that have helped me. So we've talked about those two YouTube clips and the fact that doctors say that, you know, there's no way of knowing how much alcohol is harmful. So the best advice is just don't bother. Don't bother. It's just not worth it, because that evening of, you know, you're a bit stressed because of your job, this, that and the other, and you're a bit stressed because this, that and the other, somebody's bumped into your car, you know, that a few glasses of wine or whatever to just calm you down, is it worth affecting your child's whole future? And there doesn't seem to be anything that can be done about it, which is tragic, really. So what I really wanted to share with you as well, what are we doing for time? We're not doing so bad for time. Is an article I found. It's called Today's Parent, and it was written January 2020 by Lauren Ferranti Ballum. Back in January 2020, and it's called Why Mommy Drinks, the Scary Truth About #WineMom. So what I've noticed, and you guys probably have as well, is that drinking when you're a mummy is really fashionable and really acceptable. But I just wanted to highlight, listen, I'm not here to judge you. I know life's difficult at the moment, and I know having young children's difficult at the moment, but I just wanted to highlight some things. So there's a bit of the other side of the argument, and if you can recognise certain behaviours that are not really helpful, you know, I think it's worth sharing. So there's all these. This is where I got that picture from. Where was that picture from? So this is where this picture was from. This one here about, oh, look at mums. Mums need to get sloshed to cope with the kids. So this article's brilliant, actually. If you combine wine and dinner, the new word is winner. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you drink wine like it's going out of fashion, you ain't going to be a winner. Right. So I'm going to read some of this article. I printed it off. I'm going to read some of this because this actually is the most helpful thing I've found, and it's easy to slip into these ways because we can still go to the supermarket, but we're staying indoors, and what we're buying at the supermarket, bottle of this, bottle of that, bottle of bubbly. Right, okay, so bear with me. This is a story about mums who drink. A generous pour as we prep dinner, sipping as we slide something into the microwave or drop it frozen from a bag onto a tray. We hate the food a little less when we top up our glasses. The kids' bickering doesn't sound as shrill. The rush, the race, it all slows down, slides away. We exhale. we feel alternately relaxed, guilty, lulled, defensive. Childless drinkers, cherish your cheap shots. Daddies, cheers to your craft beer. Mums everywhere, with your bourbon, your cider, your Prosecco. I wish it was that simple. So I'm going to go on to read you, miss a bit out. But it says, women are consuming more alcohol more frequently than ever before. The numbers of those who report casual drinking, binge drinking and dependence are spiking, particularly for women older than 35. You know, around the time we're white-knuckling motherhood, this is one area where the gap between women and men is closing. But since the health risks are much graver for women, I'm not sure I want to catch up. The state of women's drinking has been called a public health crisis, while jokes about it adorn fridge magnets and baby onesies. This is normalisation. It's delicious. It's transporting. It may also be a problem. Right, okay, so I want to leave... There's loads of this. I'm going to put this article on from Today's Parent because it's such food for thought. But I'm going to read you this little passage here about what someone's written about. The names have changed. Lida Vitalish, so her name's been changed, was home alone every night during her baby's first year. So the wine became her buddy. Georgia was a difficult baby and her husband worked the late shift. None of them slept for the first grueling 90 days, so they sleep trained Georgia early, and by the time she was 4 months old, they'd found a schedule that worked. Georgia was in bed by 5 p.m. every night, which left Lida exhausted from the day, with no one to hash it out with. She'd open a bottle of red. I'll have a glass with dinner, and then I'd think, well, I still have a few hours. I might as well have another glass while I do the dishes again. And then, God, my back hurts. I'll have another glass while I watch TV. This one's for my back. And then my husband would come home. Let's have another glass together and catch up, she says. And all of a sudden, I realised I was consuming a ridiculous amount of booze. She'd never been the type to drink alone. Before Georgia, she and her husband went out and drank socially with friends, but it had gotten to the point where they were consuming more alcohol far more frequently as parents than they ever did in those carefree days. It hit Lida one night, she recounts, rolling her eyes at the cliche while she was watching a makeover show. It was the part where Paul, the host, goes to the woman's house and rummages through her cupboards, look at what she eats and throws stuff out. And then he opened her fridge and asked her, how much do you drink? And she said, like 3 drinks a day. And Paul said, that's 21 drinks a week. Do you realise how much alcohol that is? And I was literally sitting there on the couch with my third glass of wine and we're like, whoa, that woman drinks a lot. She says, and then I stopped. I thought about how much I'd had to drink that week and how regular this behaviour had become. It wasn't complex math. I was drinking 28 drinks a week, an amount I'd never consumed in my life. I had just gotten into this routine thinking that I deserved a bit of relaxation at the end of the day. So it goes on and on and on, all sorts of helpful things. But I'm just going to highlight again, you know, these things that I've shown you before. How fun and funky and 1 Prosecco, 2 Prosecco, 3 Prosecco, 4 floor. How funky it is, how trendy it is. Life's no fun if you don't get smashed. Right, and it says, but it's all fine. There's no problem here, especially if you trade in quippy meme culture. Google wine mom memes and you'll start to feel a little woozy. So these are some of the quotes that you might come across. The most expensive part of having kids is all the wine you have to drink. Motherhood. Powered by love, fueled by coffee, sustained by wine. I can't wait for the day when I can drink with my kids instead of because of them. And then I want my kids to be good at math, but not so good that they can count how many glasses of wine I've had. Technically, you're not drinking alone if your kids are home. And interesting highlights about the commercial aspects of what we're fed to make us buy drinks. So in the 90s, wines and spirits brands were flagging as most men were swilling beer and women weren't drinking nearly enough of anything. Like any smart multi-billion-dollar industry, it pivoted. Store shelves flooded with flavoured vodkas, colourful coolers and fizzy wines with prettier labels, gateway drinks. The plan worked like a charm. And as we've matured, our buzz of choice has too. And we now have more money to spend. So what that's saying is, do you know what? It's not all your fault. You know, advertising is so powerful. People know how to make money out of advertising, and they just subtly, it's all advertising. Buy this, your life will be complete with the elixir of life. So I'm going to put that on. But it's really important that we keep in our mind this reality. This is someone's reality. Horrendous. And even I'm a midwife, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not going to tell you all my wine stories. I am not. Let's not go there. So I think it's just really important that sometimes you go, is this time that I need to look at what I'm drinking and ignore that stuff that tells you that getting smashed every night because every day is a struggle is okay? Because, you know, we've seen all these reasons to look at it. If you've got children, these are all good reasons to have a look. You know, it's uncomfortable for me. It is uncomfortable because I like drinking. That's it. Hi Mia, hi Sarah, hi Samantha, hi Malu. So these are good reasons to have a look at it and be brave enough to have a look, because when something is a habit, and I've had a bad habit, you know, it's not easy to break it. However, I'm going to quickly just go through benefits of dry January. So if you make a decision to go alcohol free for a month, I'm not, you know, apart from my Just Giving page on my Facebook page, you know, I'm not doing it to raise money for charity. I'm doing it because I need a break. My body needs a break. And it says, it's quite good, this article, because it tells you about each week. So each of the 4 weeks, it says in the first week, you'll have more energy and better concentration, better quality sleep. In the second week, you'll have clearer thinking and more energy again, and may notice a reduction in acid reflux. So that is a problem. You know, you get a lot of acid reflux if you're a big drinker. And also the second week, it can help you be more in tune with how much water your body needs. You're going to be better hydrated. That is the one thing. I'll go through the things that I've noticed, but how much water my body needs has been one of them. In the third week, you may be noticing the pounds dropping off. And it says, as the average pint can rack up 200 plus calories and a large glass of wine about the same. So also in the third week, improvements in your memory and you're less forgetful, but not if you're going through menopause. That doesn't apply. Right, but it says, on a serious note, after 1 month of no alcohol, your risk of developing certain cancers, including 2 of the most common worldwide, breast and colorectal, is diminishing. You also reduce your risk of strokes, heart disease and hypertensive disease, and could increase your life expectancy. So, and it also says your skin starts to look amazing. Alcohol reduces the production of anti-diuretic hormones, so you lose water and sodium more quickly because alcohol is a diuretic. Booze is also one of the big triggers for rosacea and that facial redness that you see on some people. And a few weeks off alcohol should lead to a reduction in facial redness and see the size of facial pores diminish too. If you've got high blood pressure, there's a good chance it'll start to come down by the end of your challenge. And it says you start to reduce, lowering both blood pressure and heart rate, and your risk of type 2 diabetes has already started to reduce. And it says, this is in one study. In one study, insulin resistance came down by an average of 28%. And your cholesterol levels should be starting to lower. Giving your liver a little holiday means that it can focus on its other jobs. So one research study found that just 4 weeks without a drink can substantially reduce liver stiffness. And I thought, what's liver stiffness? This stiffness is an early sign of liver disease, in case you were wondering. On top of this, if you're experiencing bloating, wind and either diarrhea or constipation, you've probably noticed a reduction in symptoms now. And a few weeks without alcohol is also great for your immune system. You'll notice that you're less likely to come to every little cold virus that ever hits the office. So that couldn't be more poignant in these times, could it, when we've got a pandemic going on. So I need to know what's all this about, this habit breaking, and how do you break habits? Because what happens is that a habit, repeated behaviour that becomes a habit, creates certain neural pathways in your brain, and that it just does it automatically. It's like it gets to the time where you put your pyjamas on and then automatic behaviour, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, take your makeup off. You know, that's all habit. So you hardly have to think about brushing your teeth. You don't really have to remember to brush your teeth because it's habit. So this how to break a habit and make it stick I found this on Healthline. It was from October 2019 by Crystal Raypole, and it tells you, it just explains a little bit about how habits are formed. So there's a few theories about how habits develop. The idea of the 3 R's is one of the main ones. Reminder. This is a trigger or cue that could be a conscious behaviour such as flushing the toilet, or a feeling such as nervousness that triggers a behaviour. Amanda, I drank non-alcoholic all over Christmas. Even my mum was drinking them. I say just taste the same, just without the alcohol. If you can find a non-alcoholic drink that you like, it's got to be worth it, hasn't it? It's got to be worth it. Because the thing is, I know sometimes young kids drink to get drunk, but when you get to my age, I'm not drinking to get drunk. I'm trying to not get drunk, you know, because you don't want to make a tit out of yourself, do you? And then the second R is routine. This is the behaviour associated with the trigger. Flushing the toilet cues you to wash your hands, while feeling nervous triggers biting your nails. Doing something over and over can make the behaviour routine. And then the third R is reward. The reward associated with a behaviour also helps make a habit stick. If you do something that causes enjoyment or relieves distress, the pleasurable release of dopamine in your brain can make you want to do it again. So somebody had already mentioned about how long it takes to break a habit, but I've read something in here that was quite interesting actually. Remember, triggers are the first thing in developing a habit. Identifying the triggers behind your habitual behaviours is the first step to moving past them, and you can track your behaviours. So if there is something you want to kick, you know, maybe, you know, another thing that you can journal or keep a note of, you know, I know for drinking what my triggers are. Friday and not working Saturday is a trigger. Seeing people drinking wine on television is a trigger for me. You know, I don't drink to get drunk. No, it's horrible. You soon learn your lesson after you've made a tit out yourself a few times, don't you? And you think, I'm not doing that again, because you look totally ridiculous. So hello, doggy. A trigger for me is, you know, seeing other people drinking, because they've got that, and it's white wine, a beautiful glass, and it's all got condensation on the outside because it's so cold, and they never go, eh. They're on telly and they go, and I just think, oh, doesn't that make you want a glass of wine? Makes me want. So that's my trigger. And where does this habitual behaviour happen? What time of day? And, you know, it's like people who enjoy a drink, you know, it's like me. I don't get up in the morning and want a glass of wine, because that's not what I do. I get up in the morning and I want a cup of coffee, because that's what I do. That's my habit. So, you know, it's just becoming aware of how these habits develop. So, and it says, how do you feel when it happens? Are there other people involved? Does it happen right after something else? So focus, if you want to change some of these habits or behaviours that are not serving you, focus on what you want to change. Change your behaviour when the change you want to make is valuable or beneficial to you. So again, I think it's really helpful to write it down. Why is it that you want to change that habit? And for me, my reasons for doing Dry January is, number one, prove that I can do it. Number two, try and find alternatives so I can equally, you know, because you think, I'm going to have a really nice Saturday night in, we'll open a bottle of wine, we'll have a nice time. So I'm looking at finding alternative ways to say, I've had a really nice Saturday evening, you know. And one of my colleagues who, my lovely colleague Sarah, I think she's been dry for about 3 months, and she's not even pregnant. So she stopped drinking, and I think it was after an unpleasant experience of drinking too much. And do you know what? I'm totally in awe of her, because it's not easy if that's become your habit. And she gave me a really good tip. She said, you know, when you feel really, really stressed after a day at work, or the kids are winding you up or whatever, she said, I've been working on finding alternative ways to deal with that stress, which I think was really simple but really helpful advice. And she said, you know, instead of just going, right, I'm stressed, because that seems to be, doesn't it? It seems to be a valid excuse for opening a bottle of wine. I know I have. And my husband, Gary, says, well, he said, you'd open a bottle of wine because you'd had a good day. You'd open a bottle of wine because you'd had a bad day. You'd open a bottle of wine because it's weekend. And he's right. You go, oh, well, do you know? And the truth is, it's a bad habit. It's a bad habit. And then you go, oh, you know, something really amazing happened, so I'm celebrating. Something really bad happened, so I'm commiserating. You know, we all do it, don't we? But if we start to become aware of it, I think it's really helpful to just be more aware of what's actually going on. So write down your reasons for wanting to change. The other thing is to help take off some of the extra pounds that we put on over Christmas. We want to get rid of those. And one of the things I wanted to do for this challenge, you know, the first challenge I did, I just wanted to get through it, and I got through it. The second challenge I did, I didn't get through it. I got to 27 days. It was in November. I thought, no one's doing anything in November. I'll not drink in November. And do you know why I had a drink on the 27th day? Because my husband and my daughter were having an argument, and they were doing me head in. And I felt really stressed, and I thought, right, in my head, I said, it's your fault for causing me stress, and that's why I'm opening a bottle of wine. And you know what? It's a rubbish excuse, isn't it? It's a rubbish excuse. I should have just gone out of the house and took the dogs for a walk, and I'm sure I would have felt better when I got back. So what are your reasons for wanting to change? So this time, this Dry January, I want to, you know, I've got loads of things to do. You know, in the evening, what I've been doing is, you know, I've been making these little fellas in the evening because I've got something to do. So, you know, we're going to talk about changing habits. I know he ain't got any arms yet. I'm sorry. But, you know, that's really, the crafting's really helping me, because it's not something that I would do normally, sitting downstairs watching the telly. And these things, as I mentioned last night, they don't have to be perfect, and I'm not making that one for anybody. You know, and it's something different, because don't you get used to having a glass in your hand, going like this? It's like automatic, isn't it? As automatic as brushing your teeth. Especially, you know, on a nice weekend, and that's part of your treat, and we tell ourselves we're spoiling ourselves and we're relaxing, you know. But are we remembering our reasons for doing things in the morning when you just are spitting feathers and you've got a headache and you just can't be bothered to do anything? Or are you, you know, springing out of bed and, you know, getting stuff done? You know, it's great. It's actually great. Friday, I feel properly alive. The changes I've noticed over this last 2 weeks are, in the evening, I have noticed how amazingly thirsty I am. And you can see my face, right? You see my face, it's really dry. And it's probably because I've just got used to being dehydrated. And what I normally would do, especially at weekend, have a glass of wine. Have a glass of wine, and then you don't notice that you're really, really thirsty. It goes away because you're drinking wine. But the thing is, because alcohol's a diuretic, you end up weeing out more and becoming more dehydrated. And that's why you end up with a stinking headache in the morning, and you're like really, really thirsty. So, you know, you've really got to be, it's a time to be honest with yourself and hold your hand up and say, what is it you want? What is it you want? Do you want to carry on like you've been doing, or do you want to say, right, this is what I'm going to do? So we're going to focus on why you want to change. And it's focusing on something that's beneficial to you if you can. Hi, Irene. Hi, Claire. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Happy Friday. It's Friday again. So take a few minutes to consider why you want to break the habit and any benefits you see resulting from the change. List these reasons. Write your reasons down on a piece of paper and keep it on your fridge. You've got to keep reminding this up here why you do things, because it's like two sides of it. Your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. And unconscious mind is running the emotions, and you think the conscious mind knows what the unconscious mind's doing, but, you know, it's really helpful. And that's what this book, this Naked Mind, really, I think everybody should read that book. It's so helpful. It's uncomfortable, but it's really helpful. So one of these things on here, enlist a friend's support. So if, for example, you're trying to lose weight and you just got used to eating chocolate at night, or, you know, eating late at night, or, you know, I know we can't, we're in lockdown, we can't meet up with friends, we can't sit, but we've got these devices here that we can see each other. Isn't that amazing? So also on here it tells you practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can help you develop awareness around your thoughts, feelings and actions. This practice involves simply observing impulses that relate to your habit without judging them or reacting to them. So it's just really good to know, you know, like I find it really helpful when it gets to 7 o'clock tonight and I'm doing my live and I'm drinking my non-alcoholic drinks. My husband will come in, and do you know what? He doesn't drink that much. He can just have one. And will you be doing a live with what to pack in your hospital bag at all? I need to do mine soon, as I've totally lost. Well, do you know what, Amanda? I'm glad you suggested something, because what we can do is we can have a look at that, and that is definitely something that I can look at if you're interested. So that would be a really good thing to go through. So yes, I will. Okay, Amanda, it's a deal. Let's shake on it. We'll do hospital bags, but I can't promise you when I'll be able to do it. I might have to borrow some bits and pieces of people to show you. Okay, so going back to habits, replace the habit with a different one. This has really helped me. So I have But loads and loads of different fruit teas. I can't stand the taste of like builder's tea. I can't stand it. It's horrible. It tastes disgusting. And green tea's not so far behind it. That's disgusting as well. But what I can cope with, I can cope with the herbal teas, and I prefer the fruity ones. And there's some other ones that are really marketed well because they're called Focus and Digest and Peace and Love, and there's ones for mummies. So I've tried to, will I do a live on colic winding? I don't know whether I can, Zena. I don't know whether I'm the best person to advise. I've told you all my advice that I've got. And I think if you're having a specific problem with winding and colic and your baby is still not right, you know, if it's not something that your midwife can advise you on, it's really a case for referring to the GP and see if there's anything they can suggest. Anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. Right, okay. So instead of simply trying to stop the unwanted behaviour, replace the habit with a different one. So instead of, I always have a drink there with me while I'm watching telly, because that's what I do. I have a drink with there. Otherwise, I eat chocolates and cakes. So I like fruit tea. Sometimes I treat myself to a hot chocolate because I like that. And if I'm feeling really, really deprived, like I'm missing out, and I go, oh, do you know what? I was just like, if I've seen somebody on telly, having a glass of wine, I'll want a glass of wine. So what I do is I get, and I'll show you this tonight, I'll get my favourite wine glass. That's me digressing. It's all right, Zena. Don't worry. So I get a nice glass, and hopefully tonight I'm going to show you how we can zhuzh it up a little bit so you just feel nice. And especially when you're pregnant and and over Christmas, and all you pregnant ladies, hi Linda, all you pregnant ladies have done so well, and you should give yourself a little pat on the back. Give yourself a little pat on the back. Because you've done really, really well. And I think this is really, really helpful. It says, prepare for slip-ups. Breaking a habit can be challenging, though you might find some habits easier to shake than others. So they are, aren't they? And don't, you know, I think one of the worst things we do is, like, if you're on a diet and then you have, like, you find yourself eating the biggest trifle, and then you go, right, that's it, I've broken my diet, that's it, it's all gone wrong, I can't do it anymore. And do you know what I did the other day? I was doing really well, and I've got my target to lose a stone, and by the way, I've lost 3 pounds. 3 pounds since I started it. 3 pounds of the stone that I said I'd lose. But to be fair, I'd be happy if I'm just under 10 stone, right? So I've been really trying to eat healthy and this and that and the other. But the other day, I got me coffee, right? And before I knew it, I'd had 5 Jaffa cakes. I went, well, how can you just have 1 Jaffa cake? But I'm really addicted to sugar. How can you just have 1? Who has 1 Jaffa cake? Who in the whole wide world? I tell you what, I could have had 10 if I'd not been watching what I was eating. But the thing is, at the end of that day, I go, well, at least I only had 5 and I didn't have 10. And I didn't have any sweets or chocolate that evening. And actually, I've not had half as much as I normally would do. I normally would treat myself to sweets and things. And that's why when I've done dry months before, I've not lost any weight, because I go, right, well, if I can't have any wine, I'm going to buy myself the biggest bar of dairy milk in the world. And then one's Marvellous Creations, they're my favourite as well. But, you know, you've got to get a grip sometimes, haven't you? Hello, darling. Right, okay. Remember, it took a while to build up those habits, so you won't lose them in a day. Try to mentally prepare for slip-up so you won't feel guilty or discouraged if you do. Don't feel guilty. I've just replaced it with sugar substitutes, sweets and chocolate, and now I'm addicted. But it's keeping me... It's hard. It is hard. And, do you know, alcohol's addictive, sugar's addictive, and, you know... And, do you know, I used to have when I first started drinking coffee, I never used to drink coffee, but I got drinking it when I started working, and they always used to bring you a coffee every morning. And I used to have two sugars in my coffee, and then I moved on to 2 sweeteners, and then I moved on to 1 sweetener, and now I don't have any sugar or sweeteners in my coffee at all. And at first I hated it. It tasted disgusting, and I thought, no, I'm going to persevere. And even though I'm addicted to sugar, I've got used to drinking coffee with no sugar in, and it doesn't bother me. I probably wouldn't really like it with sugar in now, if I'm honest, and I never thought I'd say that. So you can break habits. That's, honestly, I never thought I'd be able to drink coffee with no sugar in or sweeteners, and I can't stand that saccharine, horrible taste anyway. Right, next tip, let go of the all or nothing mindset. So this Myers recommends looking at your success instead. So, you know, it's accepting you'll probably slip up a few times when you're trying to break a habit, and coming up with a plan is one thing. Preventing feelings of frustration and failure when you do slip up is another story. If you fall back into an old habit, you might wonder, can I really do this? You might begin to doubt yourself and feel inclined to give up. So, you know, it's just, you're looking for a movement in a particular direction rather than perfection, which is an amazing tip. Instead of focusing on your end goal, consider this. Anything you do that's more of what you want is good. And I think women are horrible to themselves. Women are more horrible than anybody else is horrible to them, I think. And you call yourself this and you call yourself that and you call yourself, you know, I'm doing really well because I've not had a drink since New Year's Eve, you know, and that's, you know, I've not done that for months. And so I'm really proud of myself. And, you know, I have cut down my sugar intake, and I have really tried to eat a little bit more healthy, and I've lost a little bit of weight. So even though I'm here going, well, I haven't lost a stone yet, at least I've lost 3 pounds, you know. Only have 6 cups through my pregnancy. It's meant to be bad for babies, isn't it? We don't recommend caffeine in pregnancy. Caffeine's not good, really. If you can, she says with a cup of coffee, but I'm not pregnant, so I really don't know. I don't know. Maybe if you're trying to get rid of caffeine, Amanda, maybe you cut the caffeine out, because there are caffeine-free, you can have caffeine-free coffee. And then what if you're using that caffeine to prop you up because you're getting tired? Look at the foods that you're eating. Is there any particular food that's making you really, really sluggish and tired? And, you know, maybe just, if you can, having a 20-minute nap in the afternoon. You know, not 3 hours nap, but 20 minutes just to perk yourself up and, you know, be able to cope without the caffeine, because I'm not in a position at the moment to be giving up caffeine, but maybe one day I will. I'm giving up other things. So anyway, start small, just one habit at a time. Change your environment. Your surroundings can sometimes have a big impact on your habits, which is true. So if you're going into a pub on a Friday night with loads of people coming out of work, going for a pint, and you sat there with your glass of orange juice, maybe you're going to find it more difficult. But at the moment, when we're at home in lockdown, it's a good environment, isn't it? Because you can change your habits. You can, look, what better time to make a sock bunny? I'm going to finish this one tonight, I think. You see, how good am I? How good am I that I'm going to say I'm going to finish this sock bunny tonight, and not just thinking I'm going to have a bath and I'm going to have a glass of wine in the bath? I am not. But we'll do our live at 7 o'clock. So visualize yourself breaking the habit. Okay, we're nearly done. We've been nearly going for an hour and a half. We're nearly done. Visualize yourself breaking the habit. Breaking habits doesn't have to be an entirely hands-on physical process. You can practice new replacement habits mentally too. So that's where the power of visualization can really help you on your way. So it's just visualizing yourself practicing deep breathing, walking to get a drink of water, sorting out through old notes, or tidying desk drawers. So if you're there and you've woke up in the middle of the night, just visualize what it is that you want to change. And you know, your goal might be to get more organized, and you just visualizing your busy study getting all sorted out, and then you can see it being and I can see it now, and already I'm seeing this room getting tidy, and I'm thinking, I might want to do that. So it can just spur you on if you can imagine what the end goal looks like. Practice self-care. Many people find it easier to create positive changes in life when they begin from a place of wellness. So if you slip up, if you go wrong, don't beat yourself up. Do you have it on how to make the sock bunnies? I did one, Amanda. The sock bunnies, I did one last night. So I'm making this one. I made this one, but I'm going to finish it. But I've done how I got that far with the sock bunny, Amanda. So I hope you're going to make one out of your fluffy socks. And if you need any more tips, well, I'm going to be making other things to showing you anyway. So, right, I'm going to give you some self-care tips before we part. And self-care tips, are you listening? Though when you have a newborn, not supposed to eat crap, drink or bad food when you're not. It's hard, Zena. It is. It's not easy. None of this is. All this stuff that I'm telling you is simple, but it's not easy. It's really hard because do you know, to be fair, how many people do you think have turned this video off because they don't want me to tell them that they're not going to have a drink of wine because that's all they've been looking forward to all week? But it is what it is, isn't it? You know, you make your own choices. And try these self-care tips. Make time for restful sleep. Eat regular, nutritious meals. So when I'm trying to get healthier, I try not to deprive myself of things. I try and tell myself I'm going to eat more of. And that might be I'm adding more spinach to my meals. I'm going to have more vegetables instead of potatoes. You know, I'm going to cook fresh instead of putting a microwave meal in. Aim to be physically active most days. And that's really, really good for you just to go for a little walk. That's something I need to work on. Take at least a little time each day for hobbies, relaxation, or other things that improve your mood. Motivate yourself with rewards for success. So I have got my, all right, I've already bought 2 dresses in the Joe Brown sale. I am sorry, but it just happened. However, I bought myself a bright yellow dress to wear when I've lost that Christmas weight. So I'm hoping to share my beautiful, need to try hard with that. Oh, you just got to keep on keeping on. You can always keep on trying, can't you? You know, just because you have a bad day, it doesn't mean you can't try again. So, right, celebrate your wins. So, my yellow dress, and I'm going to buy myself some. If I lose the weight, I'm going to fit into my yellow dress. And if I do dry January all the way to the end, I'm going to buy myself some wetsuit, gloves and feet so I can go swimming in the sea. Not yet though. I'm not doing that again like I did on New Year's Day. I'm not doing it. Right, so give it time. Listen to this. Now, I found this really, really interesting. There's a common myth that it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. But where does this figure come from? And it says, and I've never heard this before, it's likely from a study involving people who had plastic surgery. Most of them adjusted to their changed appearance within 3 weeks. That's pretty different than from actively working to break an ingrained habit. Right, so it says realistically, experts believe it takes about 10 weeks. 10 weeks, 2 to 3 months or more to break an unwanted habit. Of course, some habits make may take more or less time to break. The amount of time it takes to break a habit depends on several things, and it's like how long you've had the habit, the emotional, physical or social needs that the habit fulfills, whether you've had support on help breaking the habit, and the physical or emotional reward the habit provides. So the reason we've got bad habits a lot of the time is because we perceive it gives us a reward. So it's like, I guess I'm buying into that 10 weeks, because this coffee thing, this coffee business, without the sugar, I've broken that habit, and I won't ever go back to having sugar or sweetener in my coffee, because I've broken the habit and I'm quite happy with how it tastes. However, dry January, I'm already planning what I'm doing on the 1st of February. I've already planned the bottle of wine. I'm admitting that it's really hard, you know, but I am reaping the benefits of giving my body a rest. And what I probably should do is do this alcohol-free month more frequently, not just once a year, more frequently, and just rein it in on the days that I am, and just be really, really, really aware. One thing, I want you to have a look at that online. So it's the article with that picture. Where's my picture? And this picture. So they're the pictures that go with that article. That is so interesting, you know, and just really, really highlights how we slip into, oh, fun mum, drinking gin to get through the day, it's mummy's time at night, get smashed, and how that can slowly slip into a really unhealthy habit that you're going to just, you do feel rotten if you drink too much, don't you? You just do. There's no getting away from it, is there? So anyway, with that, I'm going to leave you, but I really, really, really hope that you can join me tonight at 7 o'clock. I hope you're going to join me at 7 o'clock, because I hope my kitchen's tidy after tea, because I'm going to be down in the kitchen and I've got some more work to do. So I'll need to catch up in all the work that I've not done, catch up on it. So it's going to be a late finish for me. And I've got my jab. Got my jab this afternoon, so I'm going to see if they'll let me take some photographs. And lastly, I thought you might be interested in seeing my t-shirt, and I want to do a screenshot. Oh, that's really bad. Let me do another one. Right, anyway, any road up. My t-shirt says, if you can you read it? So that young lady there, that very inspirational lady, she's written this book, and it says there, you will be amazed at what you attract once you start believing in what you deserve. She's really helped me. She's really helped me. If you haven't got that book, just effing do it. Really, really empowers young women, any women anyway, to really do what you want to do without being frightened that you don't deserve it, or you're not good enough, or that you're not going to be able to do it, because us women are on fire. So with that, have a lovely Friday, and I've got a new little pinny. It's going to be Dress Up Friday. I hope you guys are all going to dress up with me and join me, and give me your comments and tell me what you're drinking, and we'll have some fun later on. All right, you take care. Bye for now.